Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
According to a report from the Asian Development Bank, growth in the Armenian economy is projected to moderate further to 5.7% in 2024, as external demand is expected to ease slightly. However, the report anticipates a subsequent acceleration to 6% in 2025, driven by the government's expanded investment programs focusing on infrastructure and housing. The report indicates that both exports and imports will gradually moderate from their record highs in 2022 and 2023. Investment growth is forecasted to accelerate to 15.9% in 2024 and 18.5% in 2025, reflected sustained increases in capital outlays for infrastructure, social investments, and private investment expansion. Private consumption growth is expected to reach 4% in 2024 and 4.1% in 2025, constrained by moderate growth in remittances, which limits household income expansion and dampens demand. Public consumption is projected to grow by 12.2% in 2024, driven by higher transfer payments, before moderating to 11.1% in 2025 as the increase taper off. Despite the overall slower growth, the report highlights robust expansion in construction and consumer services. Services are forecasted to grow by 9.3% in 2024 and 9.4% in 2025, supported by increased tourism inflows and strong gains in finance, recreation, retail, trade, transport, and information and communication sectors. In an interview with BMG, Hovhannes Khachatryan, deputy head of the Central Bank of Armenia, discussed the financial landscape of 2023 following the dynamic year of 2022. Khachatryan characterized 2023 as a year of normalization, particularly evident in the banking sector. On this and more, here are the main points from the interview.
We approved the purchase of Armenia Bank by the BOGG, Bank of Georgia Group PLC company, and Bank of Georgia Joint Stock Company, together with the proportion of 60 and 30% of Armenia Bank on 29th of March. The 10% remains at the EBRD, which is subject to further negotiation between the strategic buyer and this DFI. We are welcoming any foreign direct investment, strategic investor in financial sector. We have a history of different foreign banks coming and going in our market, and we enjoyed in very different phases the presence of global banks like HSBC, ProCredit Bank, others from different emerging markets as well. The entrance of Bank of Georgia is again very, very important milestone in that direction. Why it's unique? Because this is the first time when a foreign bank is buying a bank from top three. In fact, it's the largest lender. So it was a very, very important decision from our side to give access to a bank from our neighboring country, our friendly country, into our market. We, first of all, Armenia Bank will stay according to their application with its brand and name, an independent bank. So it will work according to its bylaw, the board, CEO, management, whatever, the regulation under Armenia, Central Bank of Armenia. The fact that they are also a daughter subsidiary company of the Group PLC, it's of course changing the structure of management, how it will happen, and will be looked through very carefully how the board is working, how the management is conducting regarding the data protection, regarding the decision-making processes. We have that hope that it will be altogether beneficial. It's upon group management how they will continue the strategy of Armenia Bank. We will wait for a updated strategy for Armenia Bank, and on the broader picture, the cooperation, the trade, and relations between Armenia and Georgia, it is, of course, one plus in that sense. What will happen next, it depends on the actions of all banks, how they will decide to go forward. Generally speaking, consolidation is somewhat that is sort of natural force that may happen in Armenia. Armenian Central Bank is very keen to have competitive landscape. We have different markets in Armenia and in Georgia, for example. Not only, there are other countries like Kazakhstan, for example, are also much more consolidated, much more concentrated than in Armenia. This fact has plus cons and pros. From the competition point of view, it's very competitive market. And probably that's why the profit margins always were lower, commissions were lower in Armenia all this period. About the future, we would say that we will still look through the competition while approving or not approving further consolidations, but we'll see. 23 was after the very, very active year of 2022 was a normalization year of normalization. In terms of asset growth, it's in banking sector, it's 9.4%. In credit unions, it's around 10%. These kind of figures. The pension funds increase of 40%. So the market financial sector per se is growing normally. The banks were enjoying very high margins in terms of FX transaction banking in 2022, and due to very huge demand and active trade. It's coming down in terms of fees and profits because the market is normalizing, but the growth still is there. More steady, I would say, compared to 22. We see 24 of countries in the world already having a certain level of comprehensive regulation. In case of Armenia, we have a draft law with different sub laws or other legislative acts, a big package that we are discussing right now with financial sector, with institutions and companies who are already engaged in that business without having license, because we don't have license. And with government authorities different, there's lots of things to do, starting from taxation, the civil code, lots of things should be done. In two words, it is a law which is allowing actually transactions with cryptocurrencies. Is based on the rule of same risk, same regulation, meaning that not technology is defining what should be the regulation. The big part of transactions, so-called in the crypto world, will still remain in old regulation when it is actually, let's say, the instrument is bond or deposit or whatever. Although it's sort of tokenized, it doesn't matter. It still remains in the old world. The part which is not lying in any other financial instruments like security, bond, loan, etc., will be covered by the new law. so-called cryptocurrencies, for example. The law is generally about crypto assets, different types of assets. There are some exclusions, like NFT is excluded, etc., etc. And very important part of that is AML-CFT and the travel rule, which means that the source of fund should be disclosed all the time, remain intact in terms of crypto world. So we will open up bigger discussion on the government level than in the parliament, and we'll see what will be the final shape of the law.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.